and Dramatic Justice Committee. Welcome. All right. Should we start with the introduction? Board member first. Again, my name is Daniel Ambrose, Chair.
Oye de Jesus, Committee Board Member.
Oh, Cesar, your community board member.
My name's David Rosales. I'm a resident, here to present about a green space.
Hello, I'm Melissa Lukács. I'm here with Beyond 560%.
Intersection.
Robert Bond, committee member.
Hi,
Robert.
Come sit yourself here.
I'm Jadine Thompson, community member.
I'm Ava Chow, I'm a community member.
Very good. Hi, I'm Argelia Ortiz, board member.
Yeah. I'm Javier Marchand, South Bronx Unite.
Okay.
Josephine Bird, committee member, board member.
John Sanchez, committee member.
All right.
Anthony Jordan, district manager to the board.
I'm like,
All right, that's okay. This is myself. This is for everyone's knowledge. The meeting is being broadcast live on our YouTube page. So on Community Board 1. Also, if you speak the first time for our automated attendant, please make sure you say your first and last name so that the system can be able to pick up your name in the future when you speak. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, the full agenda tonight.
Okay. We all have the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to make a motion to an agenda.
right. That's what. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So there were a couple of people asking about is the vice chair still part of the committee?
if what?
Is there still a vice chair position and secretary position?
For what?
No, because in the previous committee, we have vice chairs, we have a secretary.
You have a co-chair, which is a community member. You can't have a board member be a
No,
vice chair.
but back then we call it a vice chair. And we understood there was a member of the community, but they would call vice chair. That's the confusing with wording.
Well, it's the
So it's the
same
same thing. It's
Same
like
thing.
the
Same
vice,
thing. But it's a community member.
exactly. So they were asking that is that still happening? Well, the person's not here.
Should
so-
be, who was it before?
Some important information to the board and chairman is that when we merged this committee and there was the only committee that had a vice chair at the time. Well, both committees had a vice chair, I'm sorry. But now this committee is merged. The former or the vice chair person who was in the Environmental Justice Committee has not officially resigned in that role. So we have been trying to reach out to him, but have not been successful. So we should be able to reach out to him, and we'll have more clarity by the next board meeting, and then you have to determine whether or not you need to ask for another or vice chair for the committee. There's two right now. This committee is 2 public members. So the only other one as a public member is Mr. John Sanchez, Mr. Herman Francis. But right now, Mr. Francis is registered, and then correct me, Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair for Municipal Services. Is that correct?
Who's vice chair?
Was it Herman Francis?
What?
No. Okay. Now I just want to make sure I didn't know.
We did not.
So there was not a vice chair for Municipal Services.
No, we
Right,
did not
let
have
me
vice chair.
clarify, Chairman. But there was only a vice chair for environmental justice, so you guys can deal with the business under old business in the next meeting. Because that was only one in the environmental justice committee. You guys should be able to deal with that. So you have a full agenda tonight. Can deal with business in the next
It would be old business.
old business in the
That's
next.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. It was just
But we need to get, if the chair agrees, we need to get a letter of resignation from Elijah, who was the person. So we wait till it came back from him so that you guys can move forward with that in the next committee meeting, if there's no objections.
Make active chair.
So to my understanding, it has to be a community member,
Yes.
not board member.
No, not a board member.
Right.
So we're still looking for one. I'm trying to find one that. can-
So my understanding, again, both committees were merged. When the committee was merged, the only committee that had a vice chair was environmental justice.
Right.
And they also had a secretary. This committee did not have either. And so under the bylaws, like Ms. Burns, first vice chair mentioned, you had a co-chair or vice chair position that is still open in the bylaws. It should be dealt with under old business. It should not be issued tonight because you have a full agenda.
Okay,
Okay.
I understand. Thank you.
Let's get moving, man.
Right, I make a motion to accept the agenda.
As presented, okay.
I second the, or did they have to
Okay,
second the
any
motion?
opposition?
Any changes to
Any
the?
changes? Fine. Passes. Okay, so we should start with the presentation. South Bronx Unite,
Hi,
Bronx is yours.
my name's David. Thank you all for the time. I'm here this side.
Yeah, and I'll do your question.
Oh,
You-
You have the packet?
Today I'm talking about, and feel free to just raise your hand, jump in.
Okay, Tom.
At any point in time, I'll try to answer all questions. I'll try to keep it very short. Okay, so this is a green space, potentially an open green space that is on 132nd Street between Alexander and Willis Avenue, south side. And today I'm coming to ask for the next steps to get a letter of support from the community board so that Mont Haven, Port Morris Community Land Stewards, South Bronx Unite can ask for a maintenance request from the Department of Transportation, so that way we can have formal permission to steward this land and turn it into an open green space for everybody that has ecological benefits, community benefits, all sorts of things. So, our sponsor for this project is the Mont Haven Port Morris Community Land Stewards, otherwise known as South Bronx Unite. They're a community land trust. I assume all of you are familiar with that, so I'm gonna move on. Let's talk a bit about the space. This was a video of it. We have some legends in the room who've done a lot of work with community green space here today. And I think when we're talking about fighting for more green space today, there aren't just big lots that we're turning into conventional community gardens anymore. We have to get a lot more creative. And this space is a really great example of that. This is on city DOT land. And the reason it's DOT land is this is 132nd Street. This is a sidewalk. You have the row of parked cars, and then the green space is right on the other side of these parked cars before you get into the land that's leased to waste management. So it's a very long strip of land. It is about it's exactly 26 feet wide and about 660 feet long. So you have long and narrow. That's not really great for a typical community garden. So we're proposing more of an open walking green space, which I'll get into more. It's in a flood zone. Again, right here, this is an area that was, I believe, 3 to 6 feet underwater during Hurricane Sandy. These are things that we know we need. Again, I'm speaking of the fire. Former brownfield site. There are new buildings there now, of course, but this is a former brownfield site. Huge proximity to industry and pollution. You have waste management. You have Fresh Direct. You have FedEx. You have all that stuff in the industrial business zone along Port Morris. What's funny right now is it's already used by the community in really organic ways, even in spite of its current condition, which is a lot of dog poop, which we've cleaned up, and a lot of weeds. Are there any questions about the space?
Can you explain to him, please? Like we usually have the whole presentation done.
And then questions.
and then
Okay, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Great.
To save time, yeah.
Yeah,
At the
sounds
same
good.
time.
When we're talking about proximity to other things, I mentioned how big it is. It's also really close to Pulaski Park. It's close to 3 residential buildings, high density, mixed incomes. Even one of the 2 new buildings is a mixed income building. One of them, I'm actually not sure. I was gonna ask Cecil because he used to live in that building if it's mixed income. And then the 3rd building is also mixed income. It actually is directly adjacent to South Bronx Unite's waterfront plan. You all know about that kind of vision that's been going on for many years. And so one of the reasons we like the name Semilla, which is seed in Spanish, is that it's kind of like a seed for much more ambitious green space plans here in the South Bronx for the future. It's also really, I should have put it here, it's really close to Dream Charter School as well. So you do have, there's a lot of kids, a lot of families in this area. Community visioning. I met with Caesar and Mr. Jordan a few months ago, and they're like, hey, what does the community want? We held 3 community visioning sessions in January, and the consensus is that we want to move in small phases that we can handle. We're going to be 100% volunteer-led and volunteer-driven. So I'm going to talk about that more, but we're going to start in small phases. We really want to focus on ecological benefits, pollinators, maybe potentially tree canopy, though we're not doing trees in the first year, most likely. and flood protection, making it a walking path, and because dog owners already use it, and that's the community that this space is already speaking to, we wanna, make it accessible and friendly to them. Some cool photos of us hanging out. We also have support from a lot of amazing organizations. Bronx Green Up from the New York Botanical Garden. Here's Jason from NYBG collecting a soil sample. We got the soil sample back. It is below all EPA levels for heavy metals, so the soil's looking about as safe as any soil around here. We have support from more gardens. We already have that formal letter of support from Erish, who I'm sure many of you know. Dogs of Mott Haven, we're working closely with Jonas, who runs that nonprofit, because he's right here in our visiting session. Because again, we want to work with that group. I think a lot of green space groups tend to not want dogs because they pee on plants and that sort of thing. We want to figure out a way to make it work. Nearby tennis associations, including 40 Bruckner, which is the closest building to that space. And we already got a big WhatsApp group. We're already going. We've already picked up dog poop and trash. Okay, phase one. We're going to start with the first 50 feet between Alexander and Willis. 100% donations, 100% volunteer led. We're not asking for any money. We're getting plants confirmed from NYBG. They've offered, as well as Maria Solar Green Space, a nearby community garden. They've also offered compost. Wood chips, we already have talked to Concha Arborist, which is a private arborist. So we'll be able to make like nice wood chip paths. Water and hydrant access is, I think, one of the challenges, but we talked to Green Thumb. They can give us a permit once we sort of have a maintenance agreement from DOT to use the hydrant. And then we can also put rain barrels there so that not every person every time has to use the hydrant. So it could be like once every 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, filling up the rain barrels. So there are definitely some puzzle pieces to figure out, but yeah, we're working through them. And I just want to emphasize, we've already organized successful cleanup days. This group of people who are doing this are people who are very active already in places like Maria Solar Green Space, with South Bronx Unite, with other nonprofits. And we understand that it's really easy to get excited about a green space and wanting to activate it. And it's entirely another thing to keep that momentum going through seasons and through years. And so we're bringing together really experienced groups who are in this for many years to really reshape this entire corridor one piece at a time. Long term, like I mentioned, this is a render made by one of our volunteers, which I think is really cool, just to kind of showcase the potential. Again, it does connect to South Bronx Unite's Mott Haven Port Morris waterfront plan, which the land starts right here. We want to work with Dogs Mott Haven. I know that they're looking at a dog run somewhere in the area. We want to figure out how to work with them on that and make sure that our green space can potentially connect to that. We want to work with parks on maybe one day. Pulaski Park is right here. How cool would it be in 3, 4, 5 years if this path kept going and connected to Pulaski Park? I think that'd be really cool. Now you're talking about, you could have green space all the way from Alexander Avenue all the way through Pulaski Park, all back here. I think that'd be pretty cool. I know there's lots of other logistical details. Lighting, there is already big lighting there. Again, a lot of community gardens don't have a lot of lighting. We're not planning on adding lighting because there already is some there, and it's not, again, it's gonna be more like a walking space, just as it's already used right now. Not a traditional community garden. Seating, in the first year, we've agreed that we don't want to do benches or seating, just to alleviate any possibility about loitering concerns, noise concerns. Again, because people use a walking path, let's focus on that. Insurance will be provided by Mott Haven Port Morris Community Land Stewards. And then I think one other challenge is that fence is just pretty janky. It's got some barbed wire, so I agree that's a challenge, but our plans to discuss with DOT about that once we have the meeting. Thank you for supporting this grassroots project. Yes.
So when you were talking about the situation with the dogs and everything and the pathway,
Yes.
okay, so the rendition is very nice with the greenery and everything and the landscaping and all that. So I've been to a few of these dog parks and everything, because I was working with dog grooming company. And I noticed that they found a way to avoid the dogs from pooping in the area because they put small, it looked like chicken wire fences within the area of a dog lifting their leg or trying to squat there to avoid that.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
that's just an idea that
we're one step ahead of you. There's this great fencing that Central Park has in other parks.
And that's why I seen
So
that.
I'll give you a tip. If you ever need that, go to the Central Park Conservancy dump, and they throw that stuff away. And we actually already got some and have it at Maria Sola. So we're ready to roll on that.
And then my second one was as far as the wood chips.
Yes.
What function in reality, when you start the landscape and everything, is that gonna be with that area?
Yeah, the wood chips are to demarcate what's like the walking path versus to help demarcate what's the walking path and what's the like planting beds. And
So the walking path is gonna have the gravel and the pebbles, or it's gonna be like asphalt, like,
no asphalt.
it's just gonna be the way it is in the picture?
Yeah, so we started to do this actually a little bit. We dug some sections up, took off the big rocks. We're gonna put compost down, obviously, and then place where people walk, we're gonna put wood chips. Wood chips already overnight, you're already gonna absorb a lot more rainwater. So there's literally environmental benefits
There you
the
go.
day that we get going.
Thank you.
I just want to slightly elaborate on the seating situation.
Yes.
Your name?
My name is Argelia Ortiz. I'm a board member. And the reason why I want to elaborate on that is because one of the situations that has happened in our communities is that in places that did not provide benches, people brought their own beach chairs. And it got very elaborate to the point where people started bringing more than beach chairs in those places that don't have any kind of seating. And that is a constant situation that's going on. Sidewalks are now being taken up by all that. But areas that don't have benches, people started doing that a lot. So I really would ask, has any kind of even statistical elaboration happened when it came to the decision of deciding no seating at all? And that would be my concern with that. I mean, I think it's good. I think this is great, but do you see where I'm going with this?
You're saying that whether we have seating or not, people are gonna bring their own chairs.
No, I think if you have seating, it deterred people from doing that.
Okay, you can come to our community visioning session.
Okay, well, I will. I probably
We
will.
can hash it out.
I
We
will
actually,
come.
we
Okay.
had, one of the first things people said is, oh, it'd be so nice to have benches, right? And then someone's like, well, what about concerns with loitering? And so I think, this is all in flux, and we're moving in phases, and we're moving based on not what I want, not what you want either. It's what kind of we together decide.
And-
So we're open to it.
Okay, another thing that maybe it's a suggestive question,
Mhm.
is there gonna be some kind of direct patrol and communication with the precincts? Because they do want to know who is loitering where, and they do want to start enforcing. Like even, again, going back to the dog pool situation, they do want to start giving out like summonses for that.
Mhm.
See, so I wonder on that level, what kind of communication have you had with the law enforcement, even the local precinct, of the type of patrol that will happen in that area?
Yeah, so one of our community members who came to a visioning session, who goes to all the 40th precinct meetings, her name's Alexa, she's wonderful. She said that as of now, the precinct does not monitor that area. But I think something that we talked about is people already use that area to walk along. So again, the use case of the area is not changing. It's just
You're gonna beautify it.
beautifying it, making it better.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Francis wanted to speak before. You still want to speak?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you want to do it before Ms. Brown goes?
Yes.
State your name.
Oh, Herman Francis, community resident, born and raised in the Bronx. When you walk over there, how close are you all to the river?
You're still pretty far, and that's because that's all waste management's land. So that's state land that's leased out to waste management, which waste management subleases to other industries. So right from there, you have a big parking lot, that's a truck driving school.
Yeah.
Then you have sanitation,
Mm-hmm.
Waste management, then
What
you
about
have the river.
What
So
about the rail line that still goes up there? That's still under control of waste management, also that rail line?
that rail line, yeah,
Because NYPD does have a harbor unit, what they do, they patrol all the waterways and so forth. And I'm looking on the Bronx, I'm looking away in New York City, Bronx is the only part of the city that's the main there, but you still got a whole lot of water land. And when you talk about patrolling, police patrols, and so forth, because you got Orchard Beach and City Island up there, somebody lacking vision. Because them boats could be put to use. And also, because what I was thinking about, we talking about the dog walk. The dogs can be walking on the water's edges, But since the state is control, they need to sit down at the table. Why I say that? State runs the MTA number one. They also state runs the highway system, but the state has cut a deal with the state, the NYPD patrols the highways that run through the city. It's a mess, but it can be worked out. Okay.
Sorry, what's the, is there?
But the thing is, you sit down
What's
at the table, sit down at the table, so we put a walkway in there, some kind where people can walk their dogs and utilize that rail line as some kind of walkway where people can walk their dogs and use the walkway. Cause when I walk across the bridge, I see that rail line down there all the time. With no trains going over there no more.
So
it could be
it
utilized.
is active twice a day.
Yes.
It is, and here's, again, for the composters, it's
Yes.
driving crazy. It carries our processed trash to
Okay.
landfills.
I stand corrected.
And again, one thing I just want to emphasize, this space is not on, it's not on the freight.
Right.
It's not on the freight line, it's not on the waste management
Bless you.
property. It borders that land,
Okay.
which South Bronx Unite has been working since 2013, since I was in middle school,
Mm-hmm.
to try to turn that space into a much, much bigger park.
Yeah.
So this is like a much smaller project that is just adjacent to that much bigger project. So, love the ideas,
Mhm.
bring them up at when South Bronx Unite talks about that bigger project.
Josephine Byrne,
Please.
2 questions.
Yes.
What is the middle, what is underneath that? Is it cement or dirt? What's there right now?
Yeah, right now, so again, it's DOT, it's quite interesting, I've dug under there, I've kind of seen what's under there. It's DOT land, it should be a sidewalk. I've talked to some people, and it sounds like it was about 10 years ago, so there is some gravel and some rocks, but it's mostly just soil. So for any beds where we want to plant, we definitely want to dig, just like any community garden, dig 6 to 12 inches under there, get any big rocks out, but, NYBG's done the soil testing, so there's nothing.
My second question is, if it's compost or mulch, then you can't have seniors and you can't have disabled people walking on it, so that is a consideration.
Yeah,
I mean, that group of people would be probably not be going down that walk.
yeah, so we had this conversation in our first community visioning session, and medium term, so first year, again, we're going super lean, but we did talk about what Green Thumb has, which is those kind of like diamond permeable surfaces grid.
The diamond grids.
The diamond grids, yeah, I see them at Rainbow Garden actually. So I think there are definitely ways for years 2, 3, 4, where we can have better make it wheelchair accessible while still keeping it like a permeable surface. So that's definitely something we want to do. But just for year 1, we just want to go widgets.
I would also suggest putting up, and you can get the youth involved in putting up signs and
Yeah.
those pooper things for the dogs.
Yep.
Because the kids are the best.
Kids are,
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
could come up with really nice slogans in terms of getting people excited to put that little poop bag in the receptacle.
yeah, and Jonas from Dogs My Haven has already offered actually to donate poop bags and poop
The box.
receptacles.
And
But I
keep them-
love, let's get the kids to make signs,
Yeah,
that's a great
kids.
idea.
I hope it would.
South Bronx, John Sanchez, community member. South Bronx and I had a conversation about incorporating native plants into the space.
Yeah, we're absolutely gonna do native plants. We already, New York Botanical Garden has their yearly native plant giveaway. They've already offered us for this project some of their native plants. Yeah, it's gonna be native plants. Yeah.
Tap them where you can.
I have one last question. Okay, I was looking at the pictures. Audrey De Jesus. So when he was talking about the space, so behind the fence, is this cement or is this water?
Yeah, that's cement. So that is,
That's adjacent to waste management, what you're talking about,
that is
right?
waste management's land. It's subleased to a truck driving school.
So it's nowhere near any water, the whole fencing and everything, right?
The fencing's not near water.
A truck driving school back there.
Truck driving school in a flood zone. What a great idea.
I got a question. How safe is it open 24 hours? People can walk there all the time?
Yeah, people can walk there all the time. I would say, again, the lighting is tall. I should have put a picture in. The lighting's tall up, so I think it's lighting that's actually designed for
Regular
vehicles.
city lighting, just a regular city lighting?
Yeah, it's just regular city lighting, so it's pretty tall up, but people don't really use it at night.
But I would have thought that if we're gonna use that, we need to bring the 48 precincts aware that we're opening that area for that activity. Because what's happening is that if we just you get a better use of the area and don't let them know. They never patrol that area, they're not gonna have that under their agenda, so I think we need to.
Yeah, definitely, no issues.
Mr. Chairman, before the station is aware of it, I do know that we, before they know everything going on, ain't nothing getting.
Just checking.
Cause based on the presentation made, why they split the Bronx north and south and bringing them more resources in, there's nothing going to skip them.
Good, good.
All
got
right,
the agenda?
so should we move on with, I'm doing chair again.
But once again, we need to come with that idea about having a docking spot for the police boats and patrol the area, because they can see something in the boat that's happening on shore, but they can put the call in for a squad car to come by.
He said it
Because
was
they
near the
constantly,
water.
That's
huh?
not
It's not near the
Yeah.
water.
Not near the water.
You got Manhattan Down over there, right? The boats go around Manhattan Down, Staten Down, and also go out there to Long Island Sound. Now, if they're going around Manhattan Down, they go up the city out, and they see the coastline. They can see what's got. Keep in mind, a whole lot of cars get stolen in the Bronx. And used to get stripped over there by the Whitestone and drive their bridges. This is what was told by the policing commander. As cars get stripped, and they can see something from inside them boats, but you cannot make that see from the shoreline. So whatever they can see is whatever they see inside them particular boats that they're patrolling in, they can put the call in to whoever's on the shoreline activity going on over there. You know, look at it. Also have a docking area also. I mean, you got to look at it. New York City has over 8 million people. The population is getting bigger. This is the second most expensive city in the world. And now you got the homeless. This city spent over $300 million to house homeless people. It paid over $120 million in lawsuits against NYPD.
Mr. Francis, you have a question?
Yeah.
The question is, they're investing up our tax money to improve the quality of life. That's all I'm talking about, nothing else. For public safety.
All right, so let's move on with the vote. Oh, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Please state your name.
Say you name.
Cecil Brooks. It's International Plant a Flower Day, so I really wanted to see
Today?
part of this. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
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 Talk about taking ownership for our community, everyday special. So I remember this corner, like from when nothing was there, and it's really amazing to see people who aren't paid, taking an interest. I guess my question is, what have you heard from residents there in terms of their feelings about seeing people?
Sorry, Cecil's there.
I'm curious about hearing more of those voices. Since a lot of us we don't know yet what the reception will be, and maybe you spoke about some people, some of the opinions, but I'm curious to. Okay, thank you. I'm curious about what the wish list has been with what people want to see there immediately.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of, like ecological excitement. Like the native plants question, I've been asked that, like, oh, are you gonna have native plants, I think that's something that people are really thinking about. I think people are also really excited to have just like a place to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
this area, St. Mary's and Randall's Island are both too far to
Exactly.
just go on like a casual walk. And this, of course, this small green space is not gonna solve that, the
That's
full
a start.
waterfront plan is
Start.
but it's a Samia, right? This is our seat. This is the start of it. So I think there's a lot of excitement around it, and I just think the turnout on the community visioning sessions has been a testament to that. And really different people from different groups coming together. So a lot of people in the environmental movement, but also a lot of people who have never come to an environmental justice community board meeting, have never gone to a South Bronx Unite meeting, have never gone to, they don't even, maybe don't have the same conception of environmental justice, but they're like, oh, a green space near my backyard, that is something I'm interested in, voicing and helping move forward. And spending time on a Saturday to pick up trash and pick up dog poop,
Good presentation.
All right, can we get a motion to
To accept.
vote?
What's letter?
He asked for motion to vote, whether you vote
A
against.
letter of support, is that
Yeah,
right? Okay, I
yeah.
make a motion that we give South Bronx Unite and Project Josephine Byrne Thank you. And project, what's the name of the project? Sevilla Pocket Park, a letter of support.
I second.
Say your name.
Any
Oh,
discussion?
Herman Francis, yeah.
Opposition? Motion passes.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you, good idea.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Mr. John Sanchez, how do you vote? Yes, yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Herman Francis, how do you vote?
Yes.
For stop option I, Matthew Shore, you have to abstain because you're representing the organization that's being, that's doing the presentation.
Okay.
Same.
I can't win this fight.
But you can speak for it, but you just can't vote.
Oh,
You want to speak for it? You were there.
I was there.
Okay.
Shall I speak more about it?
Yeah, we're taking a vote now.
We're taking a vote.
Oh, no, don't worry about it.
The discussion is done.
Presentation was good enough for us to say your name.
Thank you. Ms. Jadine Buxton? Ms. Argelia Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Cecil York?
I abstain, I'm a member of the land trust, so I can't.
Okay. Mr. Cecil Brooks?
It's hard, but,
Well,
yes.
All the land trusts are doing that,
Oh,
so.
Ms. Josephine Fernandez Byrne?
A definite yes.
Ms. Audrey De Jesus?
Absolutely.
That's an
Yes.
Mr. Robert Barnes?
Yes.
Chairperson Gandhi Ambrose?
Yes.
Motion has passed. Congratulations. Please make sure you understand that this has to go before the full board for today for a vote. Please draft your letter of support so that to Stevens, so that the board can see the letter of support language at the board meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, David. You going to run for office later? I got you, man. Yeah, man, you're like.
that was great.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
We have,
You're going to be
Beyond
speaking for me.
Plastic.
Very good.
You're going to be speaking for me.
You're saying Hilaire?
That's a nice name, Bill.
Beyond Plastics, oh, they here?
What's the
You're, oh, there we go.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
They just got here. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alyssa Lukács. I'm a faith intern at Beyond Plastics, here to talk to all of you today about Beyond Plastics and ask that you pass a resolution of support.
Okay.
Thank you for having me today. I'm speaking on behalf of my colleague Alexis Goldsmith, who is our National Organizing Director. So Beyond Plastics is an organization that was started by Judith Enck. She was a member of the EPA during Obama's administration. During that time, she was discovering a lot about our climate crisis and found that plastics is the fossil fuels plan B. The plastics are made from chemicals and fossil fuels. There are 16,000 different chemicals in plastics. Only 4,000 of those have actually been studied, and they're most all toxic to the body. These chemicals include phthalates, BPAs, formaldehyde, things that we don't want leaching into our children's foodware. Plastics are hard to recycle. Only 6% of plastics are recycled in the United States. This is drastic to what we believe and what industry is telling us. They're hard to recycle because there's a lot of components that go into it, based on the colors, based on what they're actually made of, the chemical compositions that are not being studied. When they go to the landfill, most of the distribution for what is actually being recycled is done by hand picking. And this is even worse in countries that have less infrastructure than we have. Plastic pollution is an ocean's issue. Clearly, we all know it. You can go to any of our shorelines and see that. They're being dumped into the ocean. There's now land masses, so to say, but they're plastic masses floating out in the middle of the ocean. Plastics don't break down in the environment, contrary to what people believe. They actually stay around for about 300 years and they just break up. They continue to get smaller and smaller. This goes into nanoparticles that end up in our bloodstream. They've been found in the human heart, the placenta. Most recently, they've also been found in the arteries in the neck, and they're known to be causing Alzheimer's. In New York City, this is a huge problem. Obviously, the Bronx has issues with air pollution. New York is taking this plastic and taking it upstate. They're spending $500 million a year on waste exports. 40% of our waste stream is plastic itself. And these waste transfer stations are causing truck emissions that contributing to chronic health issues here in the Bronx. As I mentioned, all of our facilities here are ending up going upstate, and this is an environmental justice issue for us. All 10 incinerators are located in environmental justice communities in the state of New York, and that's handling 15% of our waste. These environmental justice communities are considered higher rates of cancer, asthma, leukemia, low birth weight, and other serious health issues. So that brings us to New York State's PREA, Packaging Reduction, Recycling, and Infrastructure Act. It's been passed in the Senate twice, and we're looking to get it passed in the Assembly. And this is gonna establish this extended producer responsibility program for almost all packaging. This bill that we're trying to pass is going to reduce plastic production by 30% in 12 years. The remaining packaging must be recycled at a 75% rate or reused. And this makes companies pay the municipalities for this crisis. Most of the recycling and the waste issue, it's from our packaging, it's from the companies that are creating these products. And we're also asking that they reduce these toxic chemicals, the ones that I mentioned that we're seeing, the BPAs, the phthalates, the things that are disrupting our endocrine systems and our hormonal systems. Just to go a little deeper into the bill, any company that grosses over $5 million in sales or 2 tons of packaging annually are the ones that are affected. These are the big corporations, not your mom and pop shop. We're going after Coca-Cola and these bigger brands, asking that they abide to these target goals, reducing all secondary packaging, and remaining packaging must be reduced or reused. And this is gonna save us as taxpayers dollars. As I mentioned, the municipal waste stream is in a crisis. Most of the plastic is being incinerated when it ends up in our landfills, and that incineration is going out into our atmosphere. Sometimes it's dumped into the ocean. And as I mentioned, these big companies are the ones that are paying the fees. It's been found that this state, New York, will save $1.3 billion with this bill. There are exemptions, as I was mentioning, like big companies, mom and pop, are not gonna be as affected as much, as well as things that are packaged in plastic that we just really need to perhaps keep that way, like agricultural products, infant formulas, biologicals, pesticides, things that are used in hospitals that need to remain sterile. That's not affected by this bill. We're mostly going after consumer products. Here's a list of some of the worst chemicals that this bill will ban. And when you have plastic and you heat it up, that's oftentimes when the nanoparticles are getting into the bloodstream, into our bodies. And so taking these out generally, and any takeout containers that you have, black plastic especially, is made often from recycled electronics. So all of those chemicals that would be banned. Also in this bill, we have a strong definition of recycling. Judith Enck, as I mentioned, a member of the EPA, she's aware of how the fossil fuel industry is trying to work around this crisis. And one of those ways is saying that we can just take these plastics, we can turn them into chemicals and have them as other forms of fuel. And that is happening at about a 3% success rate. So this bill is gonna say that that does not count as recycling. Chemical reuse and burn is not recycling. People ask about grocery prices. What does this mean for consumers? What are my products going to be packaged? And And the truth is that many things are able to be packaged without plastic if you think
Yeah,
about soap bars. We don't need all of this that's in our products. And there's been studies done that it's really on the companies. It's about them shifting the way that they produce these products and serve them to us. Yeah, so as I mentioned, these externalized costs of packaging, it's ultimately benefiting us as the consumers. It's gonna improve our communities, make the cost of living in our communities where these waste streams are, increase the value of our homes, and overall support with the awareness of how damaging these plastic chemicals are on our health. And it's been noted that 1.1 trillion each year is going to the social costs of plastics. That includes the issues with our health. So who is supporting this bill? We have many people who have signed on, many organizations, individuals, environmental justice groups, faith leaders, the New York City Council, New York City Mayor, New York State Association of Counties, and more. So we're asking today that you pass a resolution of support for your community board. As I mentioned, this bill has been passed in the New York State Senate twice. It has not passed in the Assembly. One of those reasons is because Carl Lisi has not brought it up to a vote. And of course, they have many things that they have to vote and talk about on the Assembly floor, but we are pushing forward and saying that this is something that needs to be voted on, especially since it's been so close to being passed. The Senate has already passed. Senator Harcum is on board with the bill. He's well aware of it. And truly, New York State is a state that other states look at. And beyond this country, it's known internationally. What New York City does is leading the conversation around the world. And so if this bill passes in this state, there's a chance that this could really impact nations all around the world. Yes, thank you. Are there any questions?
So it's separate when it's the 5 cents returnable plastics and all that, it's a separate, Audrey de Jesus process? Because I was looking at all of the definitions of the recycling process and the different ways and waste and all that. Because what you was talking about, I was thinking about when we take those 5 cents bottles to get, recycled, what happens to that?
Yeah, so those fall normally under the bottle bill, which is, yeah, many states already have a bottle bill. So when you see people that are going and actually collecting those bottles, that is an effective system.
Okay.
And so this would be a different form that's targeting more things like, when your cookies come in little plastic containers, that's what we're targeting. But the bottles are an effective system.
And the plastic that goes around the meat and all that, that's what we're talking about also? That has nothing to do with that. That's the part you were talking about with the retailers.
Yes.
I like that idea that they should be responsible for that instead of the state or whatever picking that bill up.
Yeah, and there will be exceptions for the agricultural products.
Right.
So like meat may still be packaged, like it
That
might
way.
have that around it, but other things that are not considered having to be sterile.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Argelia, I want to know, I noticed in the page of the kind of support that this is getting, and I'm trying to figure out what kind of national support can we kind of push for? Because I noticed Congress is not involved in this. I didn't see our congressman's name there. Okay, when you put up that page, I see the assembly member, our senator, Serrano and everything, but I want to know if I should write a letter to Richie Torres. I'm not here to get political, but I am here to see how, okay, but I am here to, I'm trying to figure out, I realize it's a state bill, but that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to see how can we, see, by being the state, if we push for it on a national level, we're bound to get it. I wonder about that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's part of how that game goes. That if sometimes when we were successful in doing things even locally at City Hall by rallying over in DC, of course they didn't like us, but they said, let's keep them quiet, let's pass it, but go ahead and pass it at least on a local level. We have to start from somewhere. See what I'm saying? And then it's like you're saying, when New York City does things, it does kind of set the pace, and everybody else does look at us as a sample of what things could happen. So I'm trying to see how can I push for this on a national level, and I noticed that our Congress is not involved in this.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think that it's a domino effect. That would be my perspective. If you've heard of Joe Banner and the Descendants Project, Cantor
Yes.
Alley in Louisiana,
I have heard of
there's support also in Ohio, where there was the PCB spill a couple years ago in East
Yeah, I remember that.
Palestine. We have a member, Beyond Plastics, who lives there in that community in Youngstown, Ohio. Yeah, and Judith Eng, she's integrated into the world of politics. She has connections in Virginia as well, and been talking to people in California to help to sculpt the bill so that it can actually get passed. And it's been under a couple times of refinement already. And so I think that it's a domino effect. Once we get it passed in this state, it's gonna start in other states too.
Go ahead, sis.
To Cesar Jock, board member, let's see. To Amanda and Chantel are the co-sponsors, right? So, well, I'm not. There was a report saying that there are lobbyists going to them in order to introduce a different bill because people with companies don't want to lose profits. So this will decrease a lot of profits for them. So some a little bit, I want to know the competition and what's happening and how likely this bill is going to be passed, because I would say the report was saying that Amanda got about 11 lobbyists for major companies, and then Chantel got about 12 lobbyists for major companies. They had meetings within a certain period, I think it was about 2 months, in order for them to introduce a different bill because they don't want to lose money. They don't want to pay for it. Companies don't care about, they care about profits. So I just wanted to know if that is true, what's happening, that there might be a competing bill, and then how likely is this to pass under the assembly? Because they also, I don't know how they're gonna vote. If they're being lobbied, they might not. No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's the politics?
It's true. So there are lobbyists that are going around. Beyond Plastics has given a report that shows the financing behind some of those lobby firms, and it's about a 5-to-1 ratio. Who is lobbying for Beyond Plastics are more local organizations to New York City and New York State. But that's what they do. These firms, they go and they take especially environmental justice representatives in the Asian Black American caucus. They've been taking them to different facilities and telling them that this is how things really are and this is what's going to happen. Beyond Plastics has been heavily focused on grassroots. That's where all of our organizing is. That's why I'm here. Because we see these effects in our communities. We see the trash. We see all this pollution. It's not sustainable to have this. And so they are definitely lobbying against Beyond Plastics. Carl PC said if we can get 78 board or assembly members to write to him and say that they will vote yes on this, then he will bring it up. And so they have reached, Beyond Plastics has reached that number of confirmed local or written yes.
Well, you just have one final one. So these are state bill, right? So you've been to Syracuse, Buffalo, and all those places. So all these places that have assembly seats and all that stuff. But they have different situation with EJ. I know Syracuse had EJ areas, and then Buffalo too. So it's more like mine is like how likely would this pass in the assembly? Are you seeing that it's pushing forward, that it's going to be voted on for it?
Yeah.
You seeing that?
I think so, yeah. Okay. And I think it's important to get Septimo to.
She has to do it. If she doesn't do it, I'm going to go to her house. Well, anyway, and Chantel too.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
I won't go to her house because you said
no.
Okay, I'm done.
You're on record.
On record? Okay, yeah. Not to her house.
I want to say that there has been effort upstate, but it's also really important in this community, the Bronx, because Carl DC is represented in this area.
That's right.
Also, just the effects of the issue here, all this waste being shipped through, taken on trucks, these emissions. I studied with Javier. It's a real problem that all of our New York City waste is going upstate, and all the emissions that are coming from it. It's not a sustainable system. And the way to reduce waste is to reduce the waste.
Yeah.
To say again, I could go through that. The way to do what?
The way to reduce waste is to stop making so much waste, you know?
Yeah.
Stop making the plastic.
Yeah, it's so amazing to see the.
Introduce yourself first.
Yes, Eric Javadi, Moore Gardens, and I was actually one of the Community Board 1 Parks members back in 2000, over there. So it's been amazing to see that such a great group here, really supporting the community greening, and what you all are doing is just fantastic. So I'm really commending this community board, like huge, wonderful changes that happened since we were fighting the gardens 20 years ago. But yeah, I was here specifically to really support the 132nd Street, Forest Way seats. So I was very happy to see that happen. In regards to, by the way, and Judith was one of the people who actually was supporting the community garden movement when the state, we had the state attorney. She was working with Elliot Spitzer, some of you might remember, and defending the garden. So please thank her again. She's amazing, and I've watched this grow and grow the movement to stop the plastic through her. So I just wanted to know, you mentioned the assembly member here. Is he a yes or a no right now? That's one question. Then, of course, Kathy, who could veto this, right? And then you need 2/3 majority. Where is she standing on this? And, her voice is kind of big, so people are like, yeah, she's not gonna, et cetera. And how do we then pressure this assembly person right here, if there's a no, to kind of, I would join you marching with a lot of people to her, wherever her office is, not necessarily her
No,
house.
she's a co-sponsor, she's a co-sponsor.
Exactly, so, it's a co-sponsor, so it's, it's a definite. So I just need to know, how do we, as people in the community, kind of affect the bigger picture with the representatives here and then where Kathy is.
Yeah, so getting the resolution of support passed and then being able to send that specifically to Septimo, because Jackson and Sepulveda are, they're co-sponsors on the bill. And then, with the whole state broadly, it's in flux. We see different news all the time around people's position right now on the climate. So that is something that we're all battling across the country, is how our leaders are going to respond to our calls.
Go ahead.
I think this is a great idea.
Introduce yourself first, please.
My name is Lily. I think this is a great idea, but how would you promote people to start recycling? Like through marketing, through going to communities or posting posters of recycling? How would you advise people to start recycling? Because you could say I want to start doing this, but how would you take the word?
Yeah. So once the bill is passed, then they'll put an office in place in the state that would then implement this. And most of it is focused on the actual producers. So in the world of waste, it's made to see that we are the ones that need to change our behaviors as the consumers. We need to recycle. It's our fault that the turtle has a straw in its nose. But it's really what we're consuming, what we're given.
Yeah.
It's challenging to look at, even there's certain plastics, they don't even have numbers on them to be recycled anymore. So it's really not up to the people. It's up to us to say we want the change, but it's up to the producers to create a different model. And so then once the bill is passed, then there will be a office that is funded through the money that is going to be saved from all the municipal waste stream changes. That then that person in office will have to see that those corporations are being held accountable.
Well, may I ask just one more question?
Go ahead.
Argelia is my name. I find that an interesting comment, and that's why I want to ask, glass gets recycled much better, and is that I remember Coca-Cola is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They used to have their pack their sodas and everything in glass. Later on, they changed to the plastic bottles. I know that, they have aluminum cans, but I noticed that many of their bottles are now no longer glass, they're plastic. So would you suggest on that level that I even noticed like sometimes in some of the stores, they have, when you take out your food, or like if you go to a restaurant, they have like the cardboard box, with the aluminum. Aluminum is more recyclable too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So is that maybe part of that trend to get us to change our habits? It doesn't mean that we have to stop consuming. I'm going to go to a restaurant and eat food regardless. I got to be honest. But if they serve it when I take it home, maybe they could, instead of giving me a plastic, they could maybe give me a cardboard box instead. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that like part of the idea to change our habits?
That's definitely up to the companies, and this opens up a lot of pathways for job creation. Like today, I was on a call with Judith and some people she had organized who are working to get plastics out of schools, and one of the ways that they're doing that is by having tin that is dishwashed. And then she also had someone come on the call who's talking about takeout, and she's created a whole business around circular takeout containers and getting them washed, having people be able to say that they want this container, they want to keep it. So there's a possibility for new jobs, corporate forms of dishwashing to happen. So this just opens up pathways for people to start small businesses around it.
Mm-hmm. So you just mentioned about I work at the Board of Education, and now they're changing their mindset on recycling, because before they used to have plastic fork, a plastic knife, and the spork, a napkin in plastic. Now they have 2 bins now. They just have the forks, the spoons, and the napkins separated, and the napkins are recyclable. Mm-hmm. They also now are serving the lunches in recyclable trays now. Mm-hmm. So whatever the lobbyists or whatever the good lobbyists for us are doing, they're starting to heed the Department of Education. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is that because they passed that law about styrofoam, that restaurants cannot use that anymore. The takeout, the recycling is getting better. But if they were to mandate more about pushing on when we recycle as homeowners, our garbage, our recycling, and compost, I'm mindful to that, because every day, whatever plastic, I'm recycling. I'm already used to doing it, I guess, because they're mandating it now. They're actually checking our garbages now. Sanitation is taking the time to come around and look. I see this in the morning. I'm like, finally, they're getting it. So everything that this proposal and everything goes hand in hand to what, like you say, New York is setting precedents, and we're being watched.
Yeah.
All right, Anton is gonna go first because he has an answer.
Right, if that is okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So one, it's important to share the actual proposed legislation with the board, so that in the plain language text, so the board can review that text. That's important as part of the legislation. I know you try to I guess touch some of the high points, so we'd like to read the bill so we know completely what it means. And then there's plain language text so that laymen understand what's the implications of the text. Because understandably, sometimes unfunded mandates come across, and when I say that, talk to me about when you talk about savings. Usually, when the savings happens, wherever it happens in the universe, it usually comes down to the consumer has to pay whatever the likely increase. So talk to us about where does this, when you talk about savings, what is that number, where is it impactful at? Is it impactful at the kitchen table, in the kitchen cabinet, or is it impactful on corporations, government, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so there's different ways that the financing structure would be impacted. One of those is imposing a tax on these corporations, so that's gonna impose that for them.
Do what?
They would be taxed for producing plastic.
It's here, right, to the packet?
Can we let her finish the
Yeah, let her
first, and then we'll I just wanna know what it says. It may not be, it's not clear in the package, it says numbers and savings, but I'd like to clarify it in a very definitive way so that we understand where you're likely to save.
Yeah, I can definitely send more information about that, more specifics. Beyond Plastics has that information more readily available. I know that in the waste stream, part of the issue right now that's costing so much is the sorting, especially with the different types of plastic and how variable they are. That's a real headache and causing the machine to have to stop when a plastic bag goes in there. So the less plastic that's moving through is gonna start to clean up the municipal waste stream. So that's where the tax savings, some of that can come from.
So are we talking about plastic? Let's give this market plastic. There's plastic bags in the market, there's plastic containers, there's no longer, very likely plastic straws are moving out and we're getting more paper straws in some instances. Where, and give it at least 5 examples where in the industry you're trying to move, are you going as far as like the hubcaps coating, or you're going as far as like plastic is used to create steering wheels of cars? Where we see that plastic that you saw on the beach as an example that has impacted, and I want to give congratulations to this community board, and then for Cessa York, who was the first chair of the first Environmental Justice Committee that any community board in New York City has established. This is an extremely important to us, and this community has been impacted with the most egregious environmental justice in any other community. And I need to continue to preach to the choir because we have champions and warriors at this table who all worked on it in their little ways. But I think that it's important to share as this committee, wherever a decision takes, goes to advise the full board. We should have very definitive, in the weeds, analysis on what the impact is and where does it go, because we also are concerned about what happens to the kitchen table for people who have to absorb whatever the changes may be and it may be unintentional consequences to a bill. So I'm just asking that if you have the information now, or do you want to provide some more in the weeds information?
Yeah, I can definitely provide more in the weeds. The study that was given said that it would increase consumer prices at most by 2.2%. And of course, these things are variable. It depends on how corporations respond. But some of the proposals are, like, one of them is leash the lid. That's part of this bill. It happens in Europe where they just keep the cap on the bottle. So the cap can't just continue to be littered. So that's one of those examples. But yeah, I can definitely provide more concrete environmental justice facts for you.
And then into the numbers about where, because no one expected eggs to get close to, I believe it's now $10. And some markets. It was.
It's down to $2 now.
It's going down. But gas is going up and down, stakes are fluctuating, and unfortunately we depend on antennas are not supposed to be good. I'm not going to get too political, as Audrey would say, but I will say that we just want to make sure that our brothers and sisters who, of course, want a cleaner community, cleaner country, cleaner state, we want to talk about also affordability and what the impact of this. And so, again, we'd love to learn more about it. And please feel free to share with our office so we can share with the members as they make the decisions.
Yeah, it's important. And also you mentioned cars too. So there are some exceptions, and cars would be one of those automobiles, the way that they're built with the plastic.
Bikes, everything else. I want to say alternatives, and also, thank you, Chair.
What about clothes being the second most, voluminous plastic?
What was that?
Clothes.
Clothes, yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting studies being done at Columbia right now about washing clothes and trying to get the microplastics out. Yeah, but a lot with the prices just depends on how the consumers or the producers are going to respond to this. And some of the things that can be easily changed that would actually save them money. It just is the way that they're going about their entanglement with the fossil fuel industries. Like, I love the example of the soap bar. When you go to the store and it's just the soap bar. It doesn't have to have all these things around it. It's just the soap bar. And the way that we get our fruits and vegetables or strawberries, or blueberries, it doesn't have to come in plastics like that. It can come in brown paper. Same with M&Ms.
Cardboard.
Yes, and they have so many single sachet, and they're lined. Our protein bars just lined with a thin film of plastic. Those plastics cannot be recycled. When you have a bag of Cheetos and it has that thin line of plastic, that silver lining on the inside, those things sometimes not really necessary, though, can be taken out and actually would save the producers money.
This is Cessa York. This is a 12-year plan, right? So it's 30% by 30 years.
Yes.
Okay, so New York City is 95% fossil fuel based. So we had the issue. It's only 5% renewable, and now and I will say some information that the oil is decreasing now in New York City, in the United States. Peak oil hit in the 1970s. So it's we actually getting oil, but we're not going to get the same amount we did 50 years ago, 100 years ago. That's not going to happen. So then it will be: are you looking at the savings regarding petroleum? Has that been looked at in that? And then also, have you seen like the projections within a 12-year span, like 30%, maybe it's not nothing. It's like it should be like 50% within 12 years, because right now everything that's happening globally, the petroleum prices are going to increase. So then that's going to affect companies. Like they might have to change the way they do products because they're not going to pay additional billions of dollars on plastic. So has that been looked at? So my thinking is like 30% is not enough for 12 years. So then try to reduce it to 50%. And also the other one, are you working with companies to provide solutions that are alternatives so they're not using plastic?
Yes.
So they go solution based, and they're getting let's say tax credits or something because they're doing those solutions, right? Because when you tax them, they're going to try not to get taxed because they want to make their billions. So have those things been talked about, also giving them alternatives instead of plastic so they could reduce it, and then not 30% is going to change in 12 years. And the way the things are going now is like petrol is going to go up in price, and everybody's talking about price. That's going to happen regardless. So how you had that discussion?
Yeah, so it actually was 50%, and Senator Harcum over time has worked with Judith Inc. and had made it down to 30 so that it can be more likely to be passed. Also, 75% of all packaging then has to be able to be reused or recycled. So that would be our cardboards and things. With petroleum prices, as more e-cars come online, more electronic cars, as I mentioned, this is the fossil fuels plan B. So because the plastics are made from fossil fuels, as they don't have as much of a market anymore, this is where the market's turning to. And it's only been since the early 2000s that plastic has really gone up in its production cycles, and that's with all the single use. And so that trajectory has just continued to go on in that way. So I can imagine it would even, if plastic continues to go on, I'm not sure what will happen to those.
I will just say, I studied biophysical economics, so that's where I get these ideas from. So then, at some point, it's going to reach a point that it's not going to make any money for them. So because nature is not infinite, and petroleum is not infinite. So that's a law of nature. So, well, it just has to be like you project it within 12 years. And then a lot of things could happen within 12 years. So right now we have a war and all that stuff that's affecting oil prices.
Yeah.
And then bottles and all that stuff is petroleum based. So that's going to affect the companies. And then they might be like, you might be pushing for something that they're going to be required to do within the next 5 years because of the way petroleum is happening. So it's just like the percentages I just feel are too small for what might happen in the future. So it should be 50%, but I know with assembly because they don't talk about anything about ecology, about physical economic stuff. They only talk about capitalism. So I get the idea, but I just saying that there's a potential that 30 might not be enough. Yeah, just that. Yeah, just an explanation. That's fine. I'm done.
All right, go ahead.
I want to kind of build off of what Cesar said and incorporate a little bit of the question that Melanie posed before. It's like, he made a really good point, and that's what I was thinking about. How are you going to like convince these big corporations to switch to an alternative? Like, are you going to provide them any resources to kind of like make that switch? Because I'm pretty sure like they go with plastic because it's the most affordable. They're not thinking health-wise, but it's like, are you going to provide them alternatives, or like he said, like maybe a tax credit? Like, what's the incentive for them besides like our health, which they clearly don't care about because the amount of sugar and sodium and stuff that they put in the products that they sell to us? So like, what are the marketing strategies that you have to like convince them like this could be beneficial for you to save?
Yeah. Once the bill is passed, there will be an office then that is for New York State, that would be implementing this, most likely working with them to create solutions. And then there are other laws, like the leash the lid law that's passed in Europe, where they have to leash the lid onto the bottle. So there are strategies out there. I think that they're aware there was glass bottles that were used for soda in the past, and that system just needs to return. And in the start of all this industrial plastic, it was really in like the 50s when there was more emphasis on like being a family that can be, yes, yeah, I see that face over there, just having more efficiency in the family, right? And so they actually taught consumers how to throw things away. It was like posh, it was lavish if you could throw things away. So it's really returning back to how we were in some regards, and just having more reverence. And the companies, I think, will adapt to also the small business, how they are coming up with the solutions, like people creating a circular system for takeout containers. Like that's gonna be their competition. There's gonna be more and more people that are with green solutions that they're gonna look at and try to copy.
But I feel like the city, when it comes to like implementing things in New York City, the city is completely different from any other country or any other state. Like, we have a lot of people here, and like for families, plastic can sometimes be more convenient for kids and stuff like that. So that's like are you looking at like biodegradable products? Like, I know that those can be turned into like a similar hard plastic or like plexi plastic, whatever. But like, I'm not really hearing like any preliminary products that you guys have like posed or thought of to like forecast to them. It's kind of just like, oh, you can take this example and implement it, but it's like it may not be that easy in the setting or the environment that they're using their products to.
Yeah, it's true. And because Beyond Plastic's emphasis is policy, so Judith Enck has her roots in the EPA. So it's been mostly, her focus is on how to craft the language of this bill. And it does have that structure that a new office would be created. And I think that's when it hits the ground running of like, now how does this actually look and play out? And that is part of getting it passed. But so much of the focus right now has been on her strength, which is in politics and grassroots organizing. And then her relationships too, like being in conversation with these people who are creating the solutions. That is part of it, is like looking to those examples, but Beyond Plastics has been focused on the policy piece.
All right, okay, we're gonna move on, we're gonna move on with the agenda. No, if you have a question, no comment anymore. Because we spend a lot of time on it. Let's move on with the agenda.
No, this is a question. No comment.
Question.
This question.
Go ahead.
Okay, talk about glass. What about glass? 'Cause I remember when I was younger.
That's not a question.
No, that's
Go ahead with the question.
No, I said that.
No, Mr. Francis, go ahead with the question.
I'm going with the question. What about the recycling of glass? 'Cause I remember the mason jars when I was younger. Been watching my halls and also the liquor stores. They got all this alcohol. I see on some labels, some states do get deposit on, but New York State don't have deposit on alcohol or wine for that matter. And they're pushing right now to have wine sold in these small stores, not alcohol, but wine. And what about the glass? Recycling the glass.
Yeah, glass is in the recycling stream currently, yeah. So this Beyond Plastics, they're focused on plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on with let's move on.
Thank you
If
so much.
anybody has any comment or whatever, they can reach out to you on now. We'll move forward with the agenda.
May I just say one thing in connection to this, because I know that I'm late. My name is Dior St. Hilaire. I apologize that I'm late. May I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Okay, just in regards to what it is that's happening now, so I chair the Bronx Solid Waste Advisory Board, which is completely about trash. What we're trying to do is build a Bronx Zero Waste Center to be able to address turning these products, like these recyclable plastics, into actual end products. And so a bill like this helps us to be able to move things like that forward. So I just wanted to be clear around things like the CLCPA and environmental justice laws. So that's
Could you stand up one something to
The camera's catchy, yes, it's recording.
Yeah, it has been recording.
Oh, my bad. Okay, all right. I just was saying that with the Bronx Zero Waste Center, laws like this, things like the CLCPA, we're in an environmental justice community. And so I hear what you're saying about like how you're gonna suggest something to them. It then is incumbent upon us to be able to kind of have the infrastructure that's there to be able to kind of deal with the alternative systems. And so they exist, they're out there, but without the pressure, they're not going to do anything about it. And so that's why spaces like these are important, because we need to put the pressure on them to tell them which way to go. And so I just want to be able to, I wasn't here for the presentation, but I know the presentation because we've done it at a couple of different community boards. But I want to be clear that this is very much in connection to what it is that we're trying to build more long-term. And so the more pressure we can put on them from the political angle, the more that we can kind of generate and guide these resources towards these environmental justice communities, especially in CD1. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can we get a motion to,
The letter support.
Let us support.
yeah, a motion to support, yeah.
Somebody
Can we have, can somebody?
May I make a motion to write a letter of support to Beyond Plastic?
Who are you?
Say so.
Oh, Cesar York, community board member, makes a motion for a letter of support to be given to Beyond Plastic.
Orgy de Jesus, second motion.
Any discussion? Opposition? Again, roll call.
Roll
All in
call.
favor, say aye.
I just wanna make a correction on, in the last vote, after announcing numbers, it was 9 in affirmative with 2 abstentions. The last vote,
Okay.
all right, this vote. John Sanchez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Herman Francis, how do you?
Yes.
South Bronx Unite for Matthew Shipper, how do we vote?
I agree. Please abstain.
No, you can stay only because he was on the supporting next.
Yes.
Is that you, yes? or-
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Jading, back, okay. Ms. Argelia Ortiz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Cesar York,
Yes.
Mr. Cesar Brooks,
Yes.
Ms. Josephine Fernandez Byrne,
Yes.
Ms. Audrey De Jesus.
Yes.
Mr. Robert Barnes,
Yes.
Chairperson Gandhi
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
The motion has passed unanimously. Congratulations, please divide. This has to move forward for full ratification and vote approved by the board in 2 weeks. Please provide sample, letter of support language for the board to consider at that meeting. And the other documents that was requested for you to provide. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I get a motion to adjourn?
What about old business?
Oh, old business.
Maybe you could have just listened. I'm sorry.
I
What about old business?
Okay,
What is it?
Old
Old
business here is about the NIPA workshop. Oh, yeah. Cesar York, community board member. The old business is NIPA workshop discussion. Hey, guys, come on.
Order,
Please, order. So I sent emails, and then I was told by, Paula to make it into a committee presentation. But then he wrote back to them back, and then they said, like, she spoke to Anthony about what it was, which is a workshop. So I'm still waiting to know if May 2nd is still open. So
May 2nd for us or for the organization?
for us. So we need to know if May 2nd is available, like 2 to 3:30 p.m. Actually 2 to 4 p.m.
What day of the week is May 2nd?
It's supposed to be on a Saturday.
Saturday?
It's a Saturday. So nobody has told me if that's available or not. I'm just waiting for a response for anybody.
And why does it have to be a Saturday?
Because I worked the other days and then the person was only available on that Saturday.
Okay, so reiterate, so we're gonna make available what particular,
Right.
what are we making available on May 2nd?
No, the space, the office.
For the office
For
space.
the office.
And what event are you gonna
It's
have?
the workshop, the NIPA workshop we
For the
discussed
NIPA,
last
okay.
time, like that we were talking about last, the NIPA, New York Power Authority. New York Power Authority. So remember last time we were talking about this, like they say that NIPA wanted to have a workshop, and then you voted on it to have the workshop. So that's what we're doing right now. Yeah.
May 2nd was.
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Yeah, so they said so we were trying to get all of the dates, but the person said right now it's only available for May 2nd. So he wants to know if May 2nd is available for the office to do something. So that was sent a couple of times and nobody has responded to say if it's yes or no. So an alternative, because I don't wait for people and I don't wait for responses, is I went to South Bronx tonight and I told them, can I use the space for May 2nd on that date? So that's the second option. If they say May 2nd on that date, 2 to 4 p.m., it's not going to happen here. It will happen at the South Bronx United's office. So here there's two options. So one of them, whoever's here has to tell me if May 2nd is available at the office, and then we proceed May 2nd and we do the workshop here for night
What's
class,
the time?
2 to 4 p.m. So,
Now, they have the food, the pantry in the morning,
yes.
but then they have the book. What
Oh,
time?
Sunday. Yeah, the book
What
is
time
1
do
o'clock.
they have the book that same day?
That's what I was gonna say, that the
May
book,
2nd, you have the book club that day?
the book exchange takes place at 1 o'clock after the food pantry.
1 o'clock to when?
You want me to answer or
Yes.
are you answering? So the book drive is every other Saturday. So it is not this Saturday coming up. It is the following Saturday. And in May is we're moving to the hub. So it's gonna be here at the 3rd Avenue, we're gonna Puente Plaza. The request for this, if I may speak to that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Is that they this was the issue that's come up to the executive committee meeting. The chair has asked with all the officers that when we spend community board resources, the issue has to be up to the executive committee for the final decision. This did pass the committee. We haven't had the executive committee for April to decide what's gonna happen in May. So that's why the chair asked for more information to have this come up in the executive committee in
March.
in March, excuse me, so that we can bring it up in April. So it's not that we are ignoring anyone. This is something that the committee has voted that it's going to happen, but we have to, it is the policy of the executive committee that whenever we use community board resources, staff, the property, whatever, we have to make sure that there is, first it's a committee project, not a single one-off project, and that that the entire committee is responsible in helping to coordinate that event, and that is something that is going to come up in the March executive committee. So apologies, we're not ignoring you, Mr. York. It's just that's what the chair was just asking questions for, so to help that conversation in the March executive committee.
Okay.
That clarifies where we are with that.
Okay,
Now, in terms of, I think I may be getting his concern. If we don't respond sooner, and he doesn't get a space there, doesn't get it here, so it's not gonna be fair for him.
No, well, what we're saying is that he's already, it's my understanding, he already confirmed it with NIPA, so they already have the staff dedicated to it. I understand it.
Sorry.
You want me to finish or?
No, I have to correct you with that, sorry. So I'm not being mean to you, I'm sorry, but they said they have availability May 2nd. They haven't confirmed. They want you to confirm that you're available for them. So they haven't confirmed anything.
Sure. No, I'm going to please.
That's
part of the
sorry.
conversation. So what I'm saying to you, sir, is that the officers are here, and I know, and if I was speaking out of term, is that this is something that's on the table for
The
the
executive.
executive committee in March. So I don't know if you can, and that is a couple days before the full board meeting. So you'll be finding out what, less than 2 weeks.
Does Cesar have to come and present at the executive?
No, well, either if that's up to the chair. The
Mr.
chair wants to
Ambrose.
invite him to the executive committee to do that. It's your
You
guys'
can
prerogative.
present it.
Present this project. You have to present to the executive committee his desire to use the space for that workshop at the executive committee. Do you want to do it on behalf of the committee, or you would ask Mr. York to come?
I mean, he could come and do it.
If he could
It is
come,
your prerogative.
When is it?
it's,
You can be able to answer all the
before-
questions better than I could.
it's the 20, where are we,
I can't do
March?
Tuesday.
No, you can't do Tuesday?
I work
Would
on
be,
in
is
the
it
day
the
and night.
31st? Is it the 31st?
It is-
No,
no,
the
it's-
24th.
I can't do Tuesday. I work the day and night.
The 24th?
Yeah, I cannot do any Tuesdays, so I cannot do any Mondays, any Tuesdays.
So then
I'm
we can
looking to do
schedule a
Wednesday,
time that he
Thursday.
can virtually speak to you,
Can we do that virtually?
you, Paola.
But I'll be
and-
at work. I can't be. If I
No,
even,
no, I'm asking, we will say that beforehand. He
yeah,
can speak to you and Paola anytime that you guys are all available in the evening virtually and to resolve any questions.
I'm just a little concerned, maybe, forgive me. If he needed space on this, May 2nd, as it is, right? We already have, we have a food pantry, we have a boat
No,
drive.
the book drive is not gonna be
It's
here
not
in
gonna be
May.
that.
In May, it's gonna be at the hub, so
Okay.
that it's gonna be available. It
It's gonna be
sounds
available.
like, right, Mr.
So then,
Jordan?
and then, why don't we?
I'm not speaking on behalf of the executive committee, I'm
No,
telling you what the
It
policy
has to
is.
come to the
it has to
executive
get, the
committee.
executive has to decide.
That was the
Yeah,
policy for
I just wait.
every committee has an event, those events, when you use
Cesar.
FEMA resources.
Ken.
It says-
I send a proposal, then they have a whole
We
page.
can do a virtual,
Okay,
get
Yeah, I think that's
Gandhi
probably-
and Paola and you on the phone virtually anytime this week or weekend.
If you have a day of the week that you're available, late, after 5, we can set up a virtual meeting, that'll make it speed the process instead of waiting for when you're gonna be off to do that.
No, yeah, like I was gonna say, I have Wednesday and Thursday available.
Available?
Yeah,
So tomorrow
so
is,
It
it
will
would have to be,
you had to tell me in advance so I could call
so
out.
it'd have to
So,
be either the 18th or the
So the
19th.
18 or the 19?
19 is next week, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
18th and 19th is next week.
19 is a Thursday?
Yeah,
It is a
18th is
Thursday.
the Wednesday,
It's a Wednesday.
but 19th
Yeah.
is the Thursday.
At what time? What time you want?
This can only be after 5 o'clock. when we get
After
to
5
work.
o'clock.
Yeah,
I gotta get my calendar.
6 o'clock, right? I think 6 o'clock.
5 o'clock on Thursday.
5 o'clock is not gonna be very easy for me by the time I commute to get.
Yeah, so tell me the time you're
6
available.
o'clock,
Let's do 6, but it's fine.
6 o'clock.
6 can be perfect, by that time.
It's fine.
So
6 is fine.
Thursday, the 19th.
Somebody send me an email with the
yes, we'll send you
information.
calendar invite in the morning.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah, that's
6 p.m.
fine.
Okay,
We
you
got
want,
it. All right.
The final thing I said, the other option is Sam Bronx tonight says yes, that's the second option. If something happens that you're not gonna have it here, it might actually could be done in South Bronx tonight, but they also have to approve too. So are you saying as an alternative?
It's a backup. It's a
As
backup.
a backup. So you say yes, everything is done, decided on, it be done here. If you say no, something happening in the backup, it's South
Okay,
Bronx tonight.
Now, let me ask you.
Yeah.
on March the
If- if-
19th, there's already
give me one
something.
second, please. If South Bronx United is gonna host it at your convenience, right?
There's already a board meeting going on here with-
No, there's some misunderstanding. So
Being Paola and Amber.
the goal is to have it here. They understand that. That's the email and the proposal was sent to them. So the goal is to have it here. That's the goal. But since it's been 7 months since this thing hasn't happened, they've been talking about this for almost 7 months. We want to keep that connection with NIPA. So the option is that if it doesn't happen here, and South Bronx tonight say yes, we could have it there, and then we have it in South Bronx
But how
tonight. But
much
the option is to have
how
it
much
here.
different if we have it there? What would that change?
No, the only difference is like in here, this is a different thing. Here, this is community board
Yes.
office.
And I think.
Over there, South Bronx Nights, it might look like a South Bronx Night
So
thing.
right now, it looks like yes.
Yes.
It's not a problem for it to be here, so
Okay,
should
So
be an
let's keep,
issue.
yeah, let's keep that.
you got it, yeah.
All right.
All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second?
Yeah.
David. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, so, you're gonna get Angel the plastic information.